The new Six Flags Corporation has been announcing the sudden and surprise closure of some of their more popular roller coasters this off-season, sadly leaving many of their guests without the chance to say goodbye to these attractions. In this video, we will quickly run through these closures to bring you up to speed on the moves Six Flags has been making this off-season. The first and most notable closure is the world's tallest coaster, Kingdaa at Six Flags Great Adventure. We've already extensively covered this closure and likely replacements for it in other videos, but to summarize, Six Flags has announced the closure of Kingdaa after much speculation. The coaster has experienced operational difficulties ever since it opened 20 years ago, and this year was no different as it experienced extended downtime for much of the operating season. Rumors began to swirl towards the end of the season that this would be its last, and that Six Flags was preparing to remove the world's tallest and second fastest coaster altogether with no official warning or send-off. These rumors proved to be true as its closing was announced in a statement which also mentioned that its replacement would be a large, record-breaking coaster of some kind. We are predicting that this replacement will either be a mock extreme spinner or some sort of Intamin, mock, Vekoma, or premier launch coaster. This coaster will be added for the 2026 season and will open in the plots formerly occupied by Kingdaa and Green Lantern, which was their B&M stand-up coaster, which is also being removed for the 2025 season. Green Lantern opened as Chang at Kentucky Kingdom in 1997, and at the time, it was the tallest, fastest, and longest stand-up coaster in the world. In 2011, it was relocated to Great Adventure, where it would operate as Green Lantern until its closure following the 2024 season. Kingdaa and Green Lantern both occupied contiguous plots of land along the southeast edge of the parking lot. This means that the park will have a decent amount of room to construct a new coaster if they make use of both of these plots of land. And while I'm sad to see Kingdaa go, I'm more excited to see what Six Flags will install for the 2026 season. The next coaster being removed by Six Flags is Nighthawk at Carowinds, which is a Vekoma Flying Dutchman. This coaster first opened at California's Great America as Stealth in 2000, where it operated until 2003. At that point, it was relocated to Carowinds, where it operated until this year. Nighthawk was arguably the most polarizing coaster at the park, as some people would have it ranked as high as 4th in the park, but there were others who ranked it as the worst coaster in the entire park. Nighthawk was one of only 2 still operating Flying Dutchmen left in the world, with Batwing at Six Flags America now standing alone as the only one left in the world. In addition, Carowinds is also removing their Intamin drop tower, which is located in the same section of the park. As of right now, I have not heard of any plans for replacements for these attractions in their plots of land. Carowinds is slated to receive a brand new water ride for the 2026 season, but the current prevailing consensus is that the attraction will go in a different plot of land and is unrelated to the removal of Nighthawk. Next, Six Flags Over Texas is removing the final operating Intamin bobsled coaster, La Vibora. This coaster has operated since 1986 and thus was obviously starting to age. I'm sure the maintenance costs were really starting to weigh on the park. Bobsled coasters were never all that simple to operate, and as this one reached almost 40 years of age, I'm sure it became obvious to the park that this coaster was becoming more of a strain on their resources than what it was worth. There are already plans to replace La Vibora as well with a record-breaking dive coaster in 2026, so it's nice to see this park get a large investment. Finally, the last major coaster being removed by Six Flags is Anaconda at King's Dominion, an aerodynamics looping coaster which opened in 1991 and featured 4 inversions. This was another coaster which was really starting to show its age, and a lot of these large aero loopers were never all that smooth to begin with. Of course, it's always a little bit sad to see one of these classics be closed, but I hope King's Dominion eventually replaces it with a new large-scale coaster of some variety. Of course, they are already planning to open their brand new B&M launched wing coaster, Rapterra, for the 2025 season. Finally, I have a quick honorable mention closure, and that is Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket at Universal Studios Florida. I realize it isn't located at a Six Flags park, but it's one of the more famous coasters out there, and the park has just announced it will be removed in September of 2025. I think we might do a full-length video here shortly on what will replace that coaster. Now, I have seen a bit of disappointment voiced from enthusiasts on social media over Six Flags' decision to close these coasters without so much of an announcement at all, meaning a lot of these people didn't have the opportunity to get their last rides on these coasters before they are removed forever, and I can understand their disappointment. However, I also understand why Six Flags is choosing to close their coasters in this way. From a business perspective, there are a lot of park guests who might not even notice, or at least not really care about these coasters being removed, perhaps with the exception of Kingdaa. So instead, they just quietly remove these coasters to avoid possible negative reactions from the general public. But how do you feel about these removals by Six Flags? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching.